Do you feel as though you're being force-fed a whole bunch of negativity these days? Does it feel to you as though all we hear is doom and gloom? I've got to be honest, during the lockdown I decided that I was sick to the back teeth of all the negativity. And over the time since then, I've found 5 ways that have helped me overcome the sadness and become happier, and I'd like to share them with you. 1. First of all, we stopped watching the news and reading the newspapers. These days, we can watch the news from the moment we get up, and it's so good at getting you to watch it. After all, that's how they get paid. The more contentious they are, the more we watch. Instead of watching the news, we started buying box sets of teleseries, and we used to like watching them instead. We stopped buying the newspapers for the same reason we stopped watching the news. Those 2 things alone cut back on 90% of the stuff that was making us miserable. 2. Much harder for me though was cutting back on social media. I never much liked Twitter, so that was easy for me to drop, but Facebook was harder. On Facebook, I'd reconnected with so many people I knew when I was growing up who I'd lost contact with in those intervening years. And now it's been lovely to catch up with them and see what's happened in their lives. Also, I've made friends with so many others due to them being listeners to my radio shows. I met some of them in real life and became good friends with them. And I've got to be honest, I think of a lot of my Facebook friends as proper friends, even though we haven't, and most likely will never meet in real life. When I had health issues back in 2016 and 17, their support got me through some of the toughest times in my life, and their comments and messages helped me to get through. And so it was harder for me to cut Facebook out. But what I did do was disassociate myself from those that became overnight politicians and those that became keyboard warriors, as it was all too easy to get wound up by the things that they say and get involved in slanging matches. Before I carry on, if you're finding this video of any value, please hit that like button, and if you can add any ways that you use to overcome negativity, please comment below. 3. As a couple, we decided to stay away from anything and anyone that was contentious. It's not to say that we're burying our heads in the sand, it's just that so much of it is actually white noise. Somehow anything that's really important that we needed to know has still managed to find its way to us. 4. We both have hobbies that we like to indulge ourselves in. This channel, for example, is one of mine. I've managed to learn some new skills in the time I've taken away from social media. I've upgraded my skills on the computer by doing a designer course, and I've started an online photography course. 5. I made a choice to look at things in a more positive light. I've been tracking my habits, taking note of when I've been getting angry and miserable. I've also started to track the small moments of joy that we get in our lives. But most importantly, I've tried to cut down on the negative thinking and talking that I'm so apt of falling into. It doesn't mean I've completely stopped, but it means that when I notice I'm doing it, I can consciously think or talk about something else, or reframe my thinking. Don't get me wrong, I've not been free of miserable moments. We all have those. However, I've noticed that they haven't lasted as long as they used to. Now, I'm not so presumptuous as to tell you that I know it all. All I'm saying is that if you're sick and tired of being miserable and sad, you can change things around. If any of these things that I've tried seem reasonable to you, feel free to try them out. You can create your own reality. It's not easy, but it's doable. I don't feel anywhere near as miserable as I used to, and you don't have to either. We owe it to ourselves to stop feeding ourselves negative thoughts in whatever ways we can find to stop. Just try to keep your actions legal. If you found yourself watching through to this point, please subscribe if you haven't already. By doing that, I'll have one more subscriber. And if you'd like to watch any of my other videos, click up there.